7 Days of Sunny Dune by Shinzakura. Last chapter. Do I have to? I mean, this has been a great story so far, and I really don't want it to end. I I don't want to end it like this. This I like this story too much. Also, it's one of the most popular stories on the channel. I don't want to lose the popularity. As is heard, amongst the crowds at Caroline International Airport's Terminal 5, two sisters looked at each other. The younger one, looking almost like a walking zombie, was nearly dead inside, just one stroke away from being murdered by the thing that haunted her dreams. The older one had a fiercely protective look on her face, and even though it was the younger who would travel, leave the elder behind, the flame-haired girl would do anything to protect the happiness of her plum-haired sibling. Italy sounds great. You'll only be gone for a week, Sunset said. Besides, you could use the vacation. Sonny, what if... Twilight started, but was hushed by a gentle finger on her lips. I promise, you'll be okay. Sunset reached into her pocket, pulling out a small, Beanie Babies-esque plushie that looked vaguely like her unicorn form. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this, she said, giving Twilight the mini Sunset. Twilight started giggling, much to Sunset's puzzlement. I love it, she said. I love both the plushie and the joke. Where did you get this thing? Bought it from a custom plushie maker at DeviantArt, Sunset replied. In truth, he had done just that, finding it frequently odd that someone's fancy-style unicorn collection included a dead ringer for herself. She noticed a few other colors that would have been out of place back in Equestria. I'm going to miss you, Twilight said, embracing Sunset. I don't know if... Don't worry about it. You'll only be gone for a week, and things are going to be boring as hell at summer school. Miss Luna says she'll try not to kill me too much. Besides, Twilight, Octavia said, finally interjecting herself into the conversation, I'll keep it out of trouble. I promise. Just relax and enjoy your vacation, okay? Standing a distance away, Night, Velvet, Shining, Cadence, Evening, and Ballad were all talking.
You know, if it wasn't for your sisters, this was just a phase,
Evening said.
I might be worried. Flight does look a little rough.
Velvet sighed. She'd been through this a dozen times with Sunset. Though admittedly, she was absolutely proud at how much Sunset had assumed to protect her older sister role. She didn't want to deal with it again on the cusp of vacation. Kingston spoke. I guess you haven't checked your email then. Sandy sent us a DAA report, and I forwarded it on. Says one of the common components of the vibe contains an LSD precursor. Apparently affects a small amount of the populace.
Shining nodded. One of the victims attending Sunnytown High apparently had a bad case as well, though fortunately that got sorted out.
Night looked at his son. Are you telling me your sister is basically having a delayed acid trip? Sally put two to two together. Wait, if that's the case, why didn't it happen to Tavi? Shining attempt to explain. Just like actual LSD itself, the percentage of people feeling extremely delayed effects is minuscule. I'm presuming Tavi metabolized it faster so she had a more adverse reaction when she first consumed it. But Twilight just got over the chickenpox a couple of months ago, and that probably depressed her immune system to the point where the precursor was able to act. Didn't this all start right around the time she was sick? Velvet looked at Twilight, then at Sunset. Is there anything else we should be aware of, Sonny? He shook his head. Not really. Once it's finally out of our system, it's gone. Could be during the trip, could be after, could be years. Just like some really delayed LSD flashbacks, there are cases of it happening. But I can say one thing for sure, Mom. The young man says he looked at the three teens standing just away from them. Sonny will be there for Twilight.
Speaking of which, Night began, did you? Don't worry, Night, I didn't forget, Amy replied. Though admittedly, you guys could do it easier. But don't worry. I'll make sure it's taken care of. Well, at least started.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. Attention all passengers. Delta Airlines 981 nonstop to New York City, now boarding at Gate 5D. That's our flight, Twilight said softly, not wanting to go. She felt safe, protected around Sunset. So her foster sister was the only thing keeping whatever was haunting the teen at bay. Sunset was equally reluctant to let her go. Finally, she embraced Twilight, telling her, "You'll go. Have fun. And forget to bring me back something. You'll be fine, I promise." Octavia embraced Twilight as well. "You better bring us back something, Twilight, or I'll make you walk back to Florence to do so." Twilight laughed. "Yeah, right." The drive back to Camelot was as quiet as a tomb. Sunset sat there, uneasily, not knowing what to say. "You really are worried about her, aren't you?" Octavia said, voice sounding a little guilty. "I'm an idiot. I swear, if I just listened to you, It's okay," Sunset said, giving Octavia a wan smile in reply.
No, it's not okay. She and I have been together through everything, and for her to just think I abandoned her."
The guilt was ripping through Octavia now she had heard about everything that had happened to her best friend and cousin's near suicide 2 weeks before.
"We've always been as thick as thieves before, and for the past couple of months I pretty much abandoned her."
"Tavi!" Sunset's voice was sharp. "Be there for her when she gets back. It's too late to do anything now, but it's not too late when she gets back. Trust me. Do you remember what I told you when we first met? That a friend of mine once told me that friendship is magic. Being there for her will be the strongest help you can give her."
On the driving seat, Evening said, "Yep, this is the sign, Tavi. She knows what she's talking about."
"But I couldn't be there for her." "Don't worry. In a couple of days, this will all be over," Sunset said in a tone that brokered no argument. Octavia looked at her with surprise. Even Ballard, peeking over from the passenger seat, wondered what the older teen was talking about. "How can you be so sure?" Octavia asked. "Because this has to end one way or another," Sunset said in a firm voice. "And I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure it does." The following morning, June 1st, Sunset left her aunt and uncle's place early in the morning. She had a breakfast date, she replied, and though Octavia teased her a bit about that, she was honestly glad Sunset was able to bounce back from yesterday. The older teen had very much taken to her foster family, and last night looked absolutely forlorn from being away from them, even though in truth she had already done so just mere weeks before. However, if Octavia had actually known who Sunset's breakfast date was with, it might have given her pause. Frankly, Sunset knew her companion was seriously risking both her career and even for freedom doing what she was doing right now. Thankfully, no one ever seems to eat El Torrio for Sunday brunch. Sunset thought, which is a shame because it's not bad. Lifting a bit of hueves con chorizo to her mouth by a fork, she heard what her teammate had to say. "So, there's nothing here at all I can say to persuade you otherwise." Luna spoke, looking at the young girl before her. She disguised herself well, wearing a smoky purple wig that she said came from her Nightmare Moon days. She kept it for nothing more than nostalgia purposes. Combined with the sunglasses, the sundress, and subdued look, she kind of sort of resembled the British actress from the 50s, Blue-Eyed Beauty. Sunset idly wondered if Luna had a counterpart back in Equestria, and if so, what she did for a living. Probably a schoolteacher as well, Sunset reasoned. After all, she never heard of a Princess Luna back in her day, even amongst the minor princesses and princesses of the ancient regime. "No, Miss Luna," Sunset replied honestly. "I am the person I am today partly because of my friends, but more so because of a family that took me in, not knowing who or what I really am, and not caring about any of that, only caring that I needed someone. They gave me that someone, and now her life is in danger in a way only I can save her from."
"And now you're throwing yourself to the wolves to save her,"
Luna said, somewhat impressed. She had carried Sunset Simmer nearly 5 years ago. The young girl had just rolled at Central Junior High on the other side of the combined campus, and CJH's principal, Jerry Jubilee, had warned Luna the girl was a handful. Having seen her on the school grounds a couple of times afterwards, by the time she advanced to Caroline High, Luna knew the young girl would be a problem child, the likes of which she hadn't seen before in her educational career. But in the past year, to realize that this girl was in truth an alien, a unicorn, a creature out of mythology, no less, and never really had anyone in her life who loved her, was startling enough. But then she had taken in Luna's and Tia's childhood friend, and Luna had watched as the alien from another world became so human she was now willing to risk her life for someone who wasn't even related to her by blood. Yet Luna still had to inquire. Are you absolutely sure you're not risking everything just for the sake of something overblown? Sunset, did it ever occur to you this could be a very elaborate trap set for you? You're not going to make me change my mind. Because what if Twilight's just the first? How do I know this isn't just the start of something? No offense, Miss Luna, but you have no idea the kind of things I'll be facing. You're right, I don't. But from everything you told the others, and what little you told both me and Tia, this other princess, Princess Twilight's mentor, will kill you on sight if you so much as attempt to return. If that's the case, you're walking into a death sentence and... Luna sighed. Please understand. I'm not just speaking as a teacher here, Sunset. I'm speaking as your foster mother's best friend. To break her heart if anything happens to you. What will happen in the end is that Vera will lose not one, but both her daughters. Can you accept that? No. No, I can't. But neither can I live with watching Twilight be torn apart while I have a chance to save her, Sunset answered. Besides, I remain hopeful. Maybe Twilight's created some inroads for me. Maybe I have an opportunity to convince the princess just to leave me in exile. And before you ask, no, I don't believe that. So it's Balmy going up before Godzilla, Luna estimated. Maybe. Sunset said before taking a drink of her trial. But I saw that old cartoon. You know what was the problem? Bambi didn't have something to fight for. I do. Luna was quiet for a few moments, realizing Sunset's choice was already made. She was already taking a huge risk. She was a summer school principal, and Sunset was one of her students, both in the summer semester and regularly. And yet, when the Sunset simmer that had existed a year ago, it wouldn't have been the bother. But for this one, who was kind and gentle, loving and friendly, the very antithesis of what she had been before. Luna would sign her job away in a heartbeat. The Sunset Simmer in the past had been a loner, and Luna wouldn't have cared for the girl. But this Sunset Simmer was Velvet's daughter, and for her, Luna would move the moon if she could. Okay. Celestia's at the museum. Fortunately, with Harmonia being the director, they know us well, to the point that they've let us alone there quite a few times. Hardly the smartest thing to do, but they trust her, and they trust us. The only issue would be the security systems, which per state law cannot be turned off at... Sunset grinned. Don't worry. I call it a favor. The things I do for my friends, Verity thought, sensuously lifting up a box of CD-ROMs, setting it somewhere in the sea of technological bric-a-brac. Finally, she assured that she had cleared up at least a small spot on the couch in the room. She took a chance to sit down. She then looked at the girl in a gray tank top, backwards Caroline Colt's baseball cap, and designer eyeglasses. Are you absolutely sure you're not going to get caught? Pinky, who was with her, happily mediced on a banana nut muffin that she had brought along. The siblings had been given to the owner of this bedroom about 5 minutes prior, and Pinky had grinned at the technological insanity of the whole place. Trust me, Rarity, she is not going to get caught. Everyone gets caught, dear, Rarity said repulsively. It's just a matter of when. How about somewhere between fuck now and never? The young girl in the tank top said. She fixed Rarity with a look behind the eyeglasses, then removed them. As she removed her spectacles, her warm, citrine eyes revealed a slight case of strabismus, enough to want them to go away while wearing the corrective lenses, but bad enough to return back to the original position otherwise. Looking right back at Rarity with those eyes, he said, let me guess. Because everyone knows about my bad eyes. I look like some sort of mouth-drilling retard, right? Barely take care of myself. My best chance of survival is someone can get a guy to play hide the sausage with me while putting a paper bag over my head. Oh, did she? Don't worry about that. You're adorable. No, quite the contrary, Dippy. I know you've had a lot, Verity replied, given that you're still one of the smartest girls I know. Well, no thanks. But although she doesn't really apply herself, since Simba is brilliant, and her sister, Twilight Sparkle, is an absolute genius. Dippy grinned. Don't worry, I'm not offended. We've known each other since kindergarten. But most people just see my eyes and think me for some sort of short-bus basket case at worst, or Asperger's special at best. You never bothered to why I'm taking AP Physics, or computer programming, or anything like that. I mean, hell, I'm only 16. I've already got my own software company just waiting for someone in Silicon Valley decides he wants to pay me a cool million for it. You're joking. Response, Derpy tapped, and a few things into a browser bar. A page for the Equestrian Daily came online, and Derby gestured towards the screen with her head. Kid down south in North County just sold me his app to Google for 200 mil. Oh, and did I miss he's younger than me? Sounds like I'm studying for the wrong profession, Verity said half chuckingly. Meh, don't worry about it. You gotta have a lot of this sort of thing. I built a wall for Wally's app because I wanted to and could, not because I expect to be rich off of it. Though that would be a nice side effect. Someone's gotta pay for my sister's college fund. If Dad really doesn't make enough to cover his dreams of Dinky going Ivy League. I see. So then you'll do it. Do it. I already did. Ladies and gentlemen, behold, the most rarest thing in existence. A universe where Dinky is Derpy's sister and not her daughter. Derpy leaned back and tapped enter on the keyboard. ECMA's security systems will have a unique and special snowflake crash by 6 this evening. You won't be able to bring it back up, and you won't be able to find me. Because I'm hidden behind 7 proxies. She winked, and the gun sight with her fingers. They blew on the missile as it disposed in smoke. Wait, Futaba, is that you? So, how much do we owe you for this? Don't bother, you can't afford it, Derpy said in a serious tone. Taking down a security system, violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Acts, and who knows how many state and local statutes. So it could cost me a lot if I get caught. Not that I'm going to. And I don't play that anonymous lose sex crap, so don't worry about that. Pinky then looked at Derpy and asked, Derpy, I know you need a forgiving sort, but why did you agree to this? Derpy looked at Pinky and then said, 3 reasons. 1, you forgetting her. Well, you're a little naive sometimes, no offense. If you've been her friend all this time, then she's probably really turned a corner. Second, after all the abuse I put up with her since 7th grade, she came up to me back in mid-December and brought me these. She moved the glasses, handing them to Rarity. Prada? Rarity asked as she took these inspected the glasses. Wait, I was there for when she ordered these for the rhetometrist. They were expensive as hell, in fact. At first I thought she ordered them for her foster mother, or for me since I wear contacts. Nope. They were meant to be replacement glasses for the glasses she's broke back in junior high. She knew that the glasses really improved my eyesight, but I couldn't get really good ones, since my parents aren't the richest folks in town. That's why I wore those glasses with tape around the bridge for the rest of the year, looking even more dartacular than I normally do. But she brought them to me and said she knew they would never be enough of an apology, but she wanted to make one all the same. That sounds like Sunset. Rarity replied as he handed Derpy back her glasses. But what's the third reason? That would be me. A girl closed the door. She had flaming red hair and brilliant green eyes, topped by a tank top that reveled flare size and chest tightness, and nearly lost-weighted jeans. Rarity recognized her instantly as Derpy's best friend, Golden Harvest, though everyone in town tended to call her Carrot Top, seeing as her hair was roughly the same color of that of the namesake comedian. Wait, Lyra? Charlie? Derpy? Trixie? Guys, I think I know what the next story is. We need to go back. Also, I was one of the girls that got the divorce from the club, she said sadly. Because I tend to dress in a certain way and tend to be flirty with guys, some idiots make connections and... The look in her eyes was lost. Rarity understood that look. What did they do, dear? I was nearly one of the victims as well. Derpy looked at Carrot Top and asked, You get something to drink? When the red hair departed, Derpy looked at the other girls. She was hospitalized for a month from a fractured pelvis. Sure you know what that means, right? From the looks of horror on both Rarity's and Pinky's faces, it was very clear what she meant. Seeing that, Derpy continued, Carrie and I, she's my best friend. I love her like a sister. I would do anything for her. Anything. But I couldn't save her for what she went through thanks to that asshole boyfriend of hers. Derpy, Peppercorn. I thought he was a genuinely awesome guy, because he seemed to treat Carrot like his queen. But he turned her into. Derpy turned away, and for a second, Verity thought he saw a tear slid down her cheeks. But Derpy wiped it away and turned back to them, a slow look on her face. Whatever Sunset did to me, or anyone else in the past, I don't care about. You know why? Because she took them down. I know. Nobody's willing to admit it for real, but Noteworthy has confessed, as have a few other people in the know. The cops didn't do anything about it. The teachers didn't either. It was all Sunset Timmer. She got revenge for Cat. And even though it means nobody else knows or appreciates it, I do. So do you know why I just hacked the museum's security systems? Because whatever reason it is, and frankly, I don't give a damn as long as it's not illegal, Sunset Timmer needs me to. That's all I'm going to say. I love you, Derpy. Stepping out of the subway station, Sunset stood on the front entrance of the Equestria County Museum of Art and History complex. As he walked through the fancy wrought iron gates of the main entrance, as he moved towards the marble steps rising to the Doric column entrance of the original ECMAH building. Classically designed structure holding all the antiques and fine works of art. From where she stood, she could see the three other buildings, like compass points, all surrounding a central rose garden building during the 80s. To the south was the warehouse-like building that held the modern art and museum's restaurant and gift shop. On the far side of the garden, at its eastern end, was the glassy, U-shaped building that was the Camelot branch of the State Science Museum, complete with a centerpiece display of the Space Cell Stargazer. Finally, at the northern end of the park was the multi-building exposition center, where concerts, trade shows, and conventions were held. It shared a large parking lot with the Equestria County Coliseum, the Palace, as some local sports fans called it. Where Carolina State's football team usually got their asses handed to them in the Division I NCAA. She slowly turned around to see the skyline of the city, its concrete and glass, metal spires reaching towards the sky. She looked at everything, because this was her home, this Camelot, this everyday average city of roughly 468,000 people nestled in the mountain of Shasta. This was where she belonged. But now she was about to leave it. Perhaps forever. It was very possible this would be the last time she ever set eyes on what now she considered her true home. And so, she wanted her last memories of it to be the peace and joy she never felt when she arrived in a strange, magically deficient world she had. "Hi, Sonny. You okay?" Octavia asked. When Sunset arrived home and mentioned she was heading to the Summer Teen Supersets at the museum, Octavia, who hadn't seen the newest exhibits, according to Calavanti displays, insisted on going as well. While Sunset wanted to think of a dozen reasons why she shouldn't come, the truth was Octavia was her cousin, in her heart if not legally, and the last member of her family she might ever see. That alone was reason enough to let her come, though the flame-haired girl would have to make sure she somehow ditched her cousin at some point. During the subway ride to the museum, Sunset sent a text message to her friends, and hoped they would find a way to distract Octavia. "Oh, girls, there you are, already." Both turned their heads to find Rarity, standing by the van her employers usually use for work, look of reprieve on her face. "At last, someone I can actually count on!" "Oh, hi, Rarity," Octavia called out as both approached. "We're here for this as well." "Well, of course, Octavia, dear, but unfortunately I could use some assistance, if you wouldn't mind. See, the boutique I work at is supplying sundries, tablecloths, napkins, that sort of thing, for this other event, and while I asked Pinky to assist me since you wanted to come as well, unfortunately she disappeared about 10 minutes ago. Something about needing to use the facilities, and my employer will simply harangue me to no end if I don't get the linens up there in time." A bright smile came on Rarity's face as she added, "But you can help me take it out on Pinky afterwards, seeing as I'll wager that her attention was dragged away by something shining, as though she were a magpie." "Well, sure, I would love to help," Octavia said. "Absolutely," Sunset replied, before a voice called to her from the top of the steps by the museum's entrance. "Sonny, get your ass in here!" Rainbow shouted from the top of the stairs. "Miss Little's looking for you, and if you don't get in here, she says she's going to make sure you don't get class credit for this." "Wait, this is counting as class credit?" Sunset shouted back. Sunset hadn't expected this little stunt on her friend's behalf, but she knew they were certainly creative enough. In hindsight, she sort of realized he had a knack for troublemaking, no different than she did back then. Save for where the focus said mischief. "Hey, I'm not going to risk my grades if your happy ass ain't getting up here," Rainbow shouted back. Sunset looked at Octavia and Rarity. Phew, I can handle this, Octavia told her. As soon as we're done, we'll join up with the rest of you guys, since I'm guessing the others are here. Sunset's response was shrug, but she turned up and sprinted up the stairs, hoping to look like her academic career while counting on it. As she reached the top of the steps, she asked Rainbow, "She did really, did she?" "Of course not," Rainbow said with a grin. "I got you up here without Taffy staring down your back, right? Come on. Principal Celestia is quartering off the exposition hall so they can bring in the tables while everyone else is taking a tour of the other buildings. Miss Luna, Pinky, Flares, and AT are already in the hall, waiting for the rest of us." "What about Rarity?" "She'll be there. Don't worry. I got my sister's Girl Scout troop to help organizing the tours. We gave us some extra money to make sure to keep Taffy busy. I have no idea what they're going to do, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be illegal or anything. Though your cousin might hate us for a while." "They're not going to hurt her, are they?" Sunset remembered when Sleebell, Applebloom, and Scootaloo asked for her help the week after her return to Los Angeles, because they needed a mentor who they weren't related to. The supervised Girl Scout Badge Project, which was community service via a car wash they had set up. By the end of the day, Sunset had repeatedly apologized to several people whose cars had somehow inexpensively been turned to the glaring bright color of lime green, because the three young teens had thought to get the science badge as well by coming up with their own mixture of detergent. At least the strange coating washed off, although only use of an actual car wash, the cost of which being double what they had made in the car wash to begin with. "It's the girls. What do you think?" A quiet glare from Sunset caused Rainbow to say a second later, "Don't worry. Lee has 911 speed dial." You know, why didn't they make the CMC Girl Scouts in Equestria Girls? That could have solved so many problems. A few minutes later, they were all in the exhibition hall, which was closed to the general public for the event. As promised, the room was being set up for the Team Banquet Awards. Most of the floor displays had been carefully moved out of the way, so the tables would be brought in 20 minutes from now. And Sunset and Rainbow entered via a backstage doorway. Later, a girl noticed a security camera by the door, normally slowly to get a wide view of the room, was down and dead. "Guess Steffi really did come through for me," she thought with a smile. The moment she had entered the hall, however, she was virtually bowled over by the power radiating through the mirror, a magic strength she hadn't felt since the day she left Equestria. Do humans block magic that much? She wondered. It was possible, given the first time she saw the mirror, the room was crowded. But then again, when she was here the last time, it was almost entirely deserted. That couldn't be the answer. Could it be humans were always meant to have no magic? I'm having a hard enough time as is with what I know I have now. I don't think I could live a life with entirely magic free. Just as quickly as the thought came to her, she put it away. Humans couldn't become what they were without magic. It's just a magic of an entirely different sort. Finding that coming to a world that seemed so magically dead, she would finally learn about the most powerful magic forces that existed. Friendship and love. But even then, the line of thought brought new questions. If I return from Equestria, will I forever be stuck with a lower level of magic for the rest of my life? Perpetual magical kindergarten as the old jokes went? When, Shimmer, Sunset reminded herself. When, not if. You'll be back once you solve this problem. Don't give up hope. Closing her eyes for a brief second, she reminded herself she gave up now, Twilight would be as good as dead. Sunset wasn't going to let her down. As she crossed the length of the room, she could feel each fall of her human foot. They had been born a unicorn. She mused as she walked towards the mirror, seeing Applejack, Pinky, and Fluttershy trying to buzz the glass screen out of the way. But I also feel human. Because in the end, as much as I feel I belong here, I have to wonder, do I? Sunset. She heard a voice, turned around to see Principal Celestia standing there, next to Miss Luna. For a rare change, both looked sorrowful, while a smile surprised her as she realized she was the source of it, but not for the same reasons in the past. I'm not saying this as a principal or any kind of authority figure, but as your mother's best friend. Don't do this. If anything of what you're saying is even remotely true, you're walking into nothing less than a death trap. Luna's voice actually cracked as he spoke. The break fast halt if you don't come back. Well, I guess I'll have to come back, Sunset said. Sounding a bit cockier as he felt as he ascended a dais into the mirror. Walking to the glass case, she said to her friends, "Here, let me." Her hands glowed, and with ease she hadn't felt in a long time, she effortlessly moved a polycarbonate screen via telekinesis. "Look though!" Applejack said, completely shocked at what her friend just did. The mirrors radiating full magic from Equestria. Between that and the current lunar phase, I'm almost back at my old magical strength, though I am a little out of practice. She said as the screen wobbled slightly when she settled down. At last, she stood between her friends and the mirror. She could hear Rarity running, making sure she made it in time. Gasping for breath, the violet-dressed girl said to the others, "We puzzle through this soon. I overheard a member of the museum staff saying they'll be bringing in tables in 20 minutes. Then we better get this over with," Sunset said, casting another spell. At once, the glass in the mirror began to swirl and ripple, before turning into a Renaissance version of Stargate SG-1. "Don't go," Rarity said, embracing her friend. She didn't have long before the other girls did as well, Sunset finding herself in a group hug. The first time she'd done so with her friends, she found it stupid and embarrassing. Now she'd given anything to tell her past self to just shut up and enjoy it. "I have to. My sister's life is on the line. Well, eventually I knew this was going to come," she said, her voice quavering. She forced her tears away. She would not cry in front of her friends. The vow only lasted as long as it took for her to notice they were doing so, unabashedly, and even Celestia and Luna's eyes were moist. "You better come back!" Rainbow sobbed, comically crying, trying not to sound like she was crying at the same time. "What? To where I belong? Of course I'm coming back," Sunset said, the tears streaming from her eyes. Looking at Celestia and Luna, she said in a soft voice, "The last thing I need is to be marked absent from school. My parents would grab me from eternity." "Well," first I said, finally letting go as Yaris did, "you better go soon. We're gonna have to push this thing back into place." "Besides, I don't know if I'll find safe to keep like that much longer," Applejack added, pointing to the undulated surfing in the mirror. "Yeah," Sunset said, looking at her friends. She owed them much more than she could ever say, as for their sakes she had started on a journey from fallen alicorn wannabe to normal member of human society. "I'll be back. I don't know when, and I hope it won't be long. But I'll be back, one way or another. You can count on it." "And if you don't?" The last line came for Celestia. It looked as though she would jump at any moment to pull Sunset away from the mirror. Luna had the same gaze in her eyes. It was in that moment she knew how lucky her foster mother was to have friends like that. Friends like the ones she had. Family and all but blood. Sunset gave them a beat-fit smile. To tell them everything. Everything. And then, Sunset paused, in order to finally say the words she never could. "Tell them I love them. More than I could ever say." And with that, Sunset Simmer jumped through the mirror, returning to Equestria. High above the late afternoon sky, there was a crack of thunderous sound as two blasts of prismatic color suddenly filled the air. "A double rainbow!" a every voice cried. "Oh, my Celestia, so intense!" "Piggy dear, it isn't anything you haven't seen before." Figure of Polly began hopping down like a live wire on cocaine, a great baby alligator holding onto her magenta mane like a waving hair clip. "Oh, my Celestia, wow, double rainbow all the way! Wow!" Rarity looked at Applejack for help, but the farm air just shrugged it off. "It's Polly," she replied. "It'll wear off, I'll for you." At her side, Winona barked in agreement. "Well, well," a soft-spoken voice said, "all my animal friends agree. This is the perfect place to hold summer sun celebration." There was a sudden raspberry sound, and Fluttershy turned to her left, looking at a particularly pretty Angel Bunny. "Angel, be nice." "Well, as soon as our two royals arrive, we'll inform them." Rarity replied, "It'd be nice to finally have chosen a suitable spot, if only so we can attend to the other tasks Luna has assigned us regarding the celebration's planning. I, for one, need to liaise with tents and dish towels, make sure they have all the pavilion tents we need ready." She heard a hiss behind her, rolled her eyes. "Yes, Uncle dear, we can go to the pet spas, so tender paws can give you a makeover." Slight distance away, two ponies casually walked down the paths of the White Tail Woods. miles away from Ponyville. There, a raspberry-colored unicorn watched steadily, thanks to a limp mostly taken care of by the brace she wore. The other, a lavender alicorn, fanned her wings out occasionally as if exercising them. Thanks for waiting up for me, Raz. Twilight sparkled. Princess of Friendship told Raspberry Barrel. Princess of Pretense of the Crystal Empire. As the two friends walked towards where the rest of the group met. Still haven't gotten used to flying long distances, so the trip from Kerala took far longer than I preferred. Oh, well, it's not like I had much of a choice. He really wanted to play a prank on me by hiding my brace. Raspberry replied, half scowling at the young emerald and gold phoenix carelessly perched on her horn. As if to continue his prank, he took to the air, rocking out towards where the others were. A second later, he was joined by Twilight's pet owl, Owlicious, as he headed out towards the pet playdate. Well, since the girls wanted to make the search for this year's spot for the Summer Sun celebration, and our playdate one in the same, can't blame him for being too rambunctious. Well, that's certainly true. Raspberry agreed. He's been spending a lot of time indoors ever since we permanently moved into the inn, and Raspberry paused. For also suddenly something struck her. She turned to look at Ponyville, distant in the horizon, black line just behind it. The everfree forest. Is something wrong? For a moment, I thought I felt the use of black magic. Raspberry replied. Are you sure? Twilight asked, silly concern. Raspberry was the most knowledgeable about the dark arts, so she certainly did not walk the left hoof path. Something was threatening Equestria once more. Meanwhile, Raspberry blinked. Odd, she murmured, then turned to Twilight. Maybe I'm just imagining it. After all, just nothing nearby could be problematic. Are you sure? Raspberry smiled. Positive. Besides, what's the worst that could happen? So, next chapter then, Trixie. What? For all the years, we've always done one straight fic all this time. Well, yeah, the thing is, this is a series. So, there's no next chapter? No, this is the end of the first story in the series. So, does this mean we actually have to use the three dreaded words? Yep. To be continued. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I'm going through the other stories. It's just that if you follow this channel, you know I like doing the other fics I've got. So, here's what's going to happen. Y'all are going to have to wait till next year. Yeah, I think every year starting in June, I'll read one of these. But yeah, next year, you're going to have to wait. But don't worry. There is a side story that I have to read to you guys before we can get into the sequel. It's called A Harrier Problem 2. Yeah, you remember that fic years ago? I gotta do the sequel to that first. But till then, it's review time! This fic. Oh my god! This fic was great. Not perfect. I mean, I know people can find out different problems with it. But for me, I love everything about this little story. So much so, it served as an inspiration for everything I'm doing back with Evolution of Friendship. Yeah, I actually had to start changing things because I didn't want it to match too much of Evolution of Friendship. Because this story beats it out. There's nothing I could do better than this. And I don't want to rip it off. So I do try to change things. So, what's bad about it? Well, personally, while I can understand why, I know that their way of thinking was, hey, they're just actors, and this is just a role we gave them. No need to throw a tizzy over it. I get it. I get that. I sincerely do. I understand. It's a tizzy. They can get huffy. I get that. I also understand that compared to some other stories I've read in the same category, I really shouldn't be too upset because I've seen worse. Again, I get it, but I can't just feel like using Flash and Vinyl as part of this little club storyline couldn't have been done better with somebody else, or could have done better with something else happening instead. And it didn't feel right to me. It was just like, oh yeah, Flash is now a rapist. Enjoy. But again, this is a personal thing for me, and it doesn't derail the whole fic as a whole. Also, another thing, I would love to have just a few more scenes with Sunset interacting with the other girls. I mean, I know a lot of good character moments are coming, but I would have loved just a few more scenes with Fluttershy or so. But you know me, I love friendship moments, so there's not a couple of good friends. So if I don't have too many good friendship moments, then I lose out. Everything else is good though. This is like Sunset Shimmer to the max. This has given us a chance to see Sunset on many different levels, from being a courageous hero to the heartbroken badass to just being the girl who wants redemption. Everything that made Sunset great and lovable is on display here. And that's what I love about it. It gives us the Sunset that we know and takes from there and explores it. Another great thing I love is that it takes the bare bones of what we had with the world of Equestria Girls. And let's face it, there's really not much they could have done. I mean, there were several things they had to get through, and you can't build a living, thriving world within 75 minutes here. But this takes that and expands upon it, and in my opinion, in some cases, makes it even better. For instance, the CMC. Instead of doing cutie marks, the Girl Scouts, which fits in perfectly. Because now they're doing a whole bunch of crazy things to get merit badges. And you can't tell me that's not prime bit for hilarity. Well, I know Megan's reasons for why Spike was a puppy. It was the Wizard of Oz reference. Laugh! Because they thought it was going to be funny in the show. They did not expect you guys not to get it. I personally prefer Spike being Twilight's little brother. I also love seeing everybody else having different and unique relations than they did in canon, or even in fan in some cases. Hello, Derby! Yeah, Disney surprised me the most. Maybe because I'm so used to the male mare, the mother, Ditzy being like my mom. I'm so used to having that when I see Ditzy suddenly go, yo, I'm I'm like Futaba, it kind of blows me away. But in a good way. Like I said, it's an alternate reality. Alternate reality means changes are about to happen. So put a little effort into it, come up with something creative. And that's why I love this. It actually does give me something creative to work for. It actually gives me something creative to read. I also love that this world does feel like our Earth. There are different music groups, there's different games, but it's our games, it's our music. It's, oh, they're going to go to IHOP or some sort of restaurant that's well known in the real world. Oh, and the bad guys, they're all rock stars! Woo! What's It's so cool. I mean, what better way to bring out,
Chaos to being a rock star, huh?
And I love the infusion of the different characters. Surprisingly, even though sometimes I wish they had a little more screen time, everybody did have some excellent screen time. The characters were well built. I love seeing everybody grow, especially those Sunset's growth. I love her interactions. Everything about the story just felt so good. So, what's next then? Well, I think somehow this fic was a signal to me. I've been ignoring them for far too long. It's time to go back to how I used to do a certain series. That's right. Saddle up, boys. Next week, Luniverse!